Well, welcome back to my studio. And I'm still working on this Santorini painting. The perspective is a little skewed. You'll see the horizon line looks a little odd. That's because I have to put the camera at an angle to the canvas so that you can see. If I put it where it's straight on to the canvas, I would be in the way of the camera and you couldn't see what I was painting. So this is just have to be a compromise that we make. I'm working on the Bougainvillea. I've already got some of it painted. I'm going to show you how I paint this. And I work with mixes of, this is permanent rose plus magenta. Those are colors that I don't normally have on my palette. It makes a nice, vibrant, hot pink that I just can't mix. So I use special colors from time to time. And I just start blocking in the bracts of the Bougainvillea. The flowers are actually not, the pink part is actually not the flower, it's called a bract. And in the middle of that, if you ever see a Bougainvillea, if you'll look really close, in the center of those pink ball petals, there's a little white flower. So that's actually the flower. And then the colored part is called the bracts. So, a little lesson for today, a little gardening lesson. I want some of that Bougainvillea to go behind this arch and use a little smaller brush. But I want, because it goes over the wall. This you can see is coming back from behind the wall and there's some back here. So I want some of these to go behind my little arch here. And that helps frame the arch, but also helps to give depth to the painting. So this Bougainvillea is spilling over both sides of this little wall. And I have some of my wall color mixed up. This is my mud, which is 2 parts of ultramarine blue plus a little bit of alizarin. 2 parts of ultramarine blue plus 1 part of alizarin crimson. And then in that I've added just a tiny bit more ultramarine blue plus white. Give this shadow color for my arch. Okay, let's get back to blocking in the part that's in front of this. It comes over my lights coming in from the left, so that side of the Bougainvillea is a little bit lighter. And there's darks and lights within this because it's a very textured plant, so there's lots of texture in the bracts, in the foliage. Just paint this pretty heavily. I want lots of texture in this. I have a friend who's blind and she loves it when my paintings are dry. She can just run her hands over it and feel it. She can feel the flowers. I get that basically blocked in. I want to come back here now, and I've got some of my blue mixture from that's surrounding the gate. This is cobalt blue plus a tiny bit of phthalo blue plus white. My domes are purely cobalt blue plus white, but this I've added a little bit of phthalo blue in it to make it a little bit more intense, so that this doorway and this gate come forward of those domes in the background. And there's a little shadow here from These are causing a shadow here. And we've got, you can work back and forth. I have to be careful and just, in fact, I'm going to take this one off. So I can just take my painting knife and scrape that down so that I don't have the thick pink paint there. And I can just come back and paint this over, and my brush doesn't pick up that pink and dirty my color there around the arch. Then this is my pure mud, and I just continue that branch on through there. Now I'm going to start adding some greens in there from the leaves. Really different shape brush here. If you'll notice, all the brushes I use have a square tip. These are called bright brushes, and I like it because you can use the corner to make small brush strokes, or you can make broader brush strokes with the flat surface. But you can see how I can just come in here and make the different brush strokes. I pretty well work exclusively with these brushes. I've tried all different shapes of brushes, and these are what I finally over the years have decided that I like the best. But brushes are a very individual factor for artists. Some artists like brights, some like filberts, some like rounds. There's all different brush types and shapes. So it's just experiment, just play, and you'll find the right brushes for you. Now this is a little phthalo blue plus liquid, and it looks pretty dark there, but actually it's a deep blue. But that just gives me some depth and darkness in the depths of the foliage. Now I'm going to have a little bit more of my blue showing through here, I think. I can brace my hand on the edge of the canvas. Sometimes I just get stuff in there and I decide I don't like it. And again, I'm going to just scrape that off. Sometimes you make brush strokes and say, oh, I don't like that. And that's the joy of oils. You can just go back in and scrape it off the canvas and start back over. And then this also will come. And you can even see how I use the side of that brush to make the narrower line of my limb there, my trunk. And I use, again, come back with some of my darker wall color. Just bring some different little brush strokes in there. Now I'm using, this is cadmium red light plus white. And that just adds a warmer pink in there. It adds some warmth to these bougainvilleas that just make them pop forward. And I just use a variety of colors. I have several mixtures of that white plus permanent rose because there's a lot of variety. If you'll look at plants, there's a lot of variety within flowers. And now I do the long arms, just snaking out. This is called a fine liner brush. too much paint on it. That just gives me my line for the little arms coming down. I'll have a couple over here. One coming out there. And a couple coming down here. Let's make one come all the way out. And I'll add some those colorful bracts onto there. I have a little more work to do on this, but this basically shows you how I paint the Bougainvillea. Get it blocked in, and I just go back and keep refining, adding a little more light here and there. But this is how I paint my Bougainvilleas. So thank you for coming to Santorini with me today. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. And just remember, if you're out and about today and you see somebody that needs help, just be kind. Practice kindness today. Somebody that maybe has a bunch of kids and trying to get her groceries in the car, go give them a hand. Somebody elderly that's trying to get in the door with a walker, just hold the door open for them. So be kind, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And thank you again for watching my YouTube videos and visiting my blog. You can subscribe to both, and the link to my blog is in the description below. So hope to see you there, and take care.